And ladies and gentlemen, I am now joined with any pro wrestler from Ohio. Bobbinette Carey is joining me right now. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing real good. Thank you for joining me right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
It is an honor to be here. Thank you.
All right. Let's get started here. How did your wrestling career begin?
My wrestling career began, well, I've always been a fan. From when I was little, I remember looking at Miss Elizabeth and looking at her as a role model. But I didn't actually get into being a wrestler until 4 years ago when I started getting trained. I got trained by Lamont Action Williams out of Cleveland, Ohio. And Kano Josh Emanuel was one of the trainers as well. And I've been wrestling for 3.5 years at this point.
Do you remember the first wrestling match that you ever had? And if so, who was your opponent? What was the company?
I do remember the very first match I wrestled was Ryan Holbrook. It was February 22nd, I believe, and it was at CWA. The match ended in a disqualification because I was attacked from behind by Angel Camacho.
And prior to that match, did you got nervous or any jitters or anything like that?
I believe, well, it was my very first match, so I was a little nervous. But I believe we all have jitters and certain feelings, goosebumps, excitement right before we get out. Actually, I'm at a show right now getting ready to go out myself, and I feel the excitement building already right before I'm getting ready to go out. So I think it's normal to feel it. Not nervousness, but more so excitement.
Yeah, just the thrill, the adrenaline that just want to get out there and show the audience what you got, what you're made of. So, who do you consider as influences in your wrestling career?
Let's see. Some of my influences in the WWE the biggest influences would have to be Stephanie McMahon and Chyna from the Attitude Era, because Chyna was the first female who was actually out there. She went against Jeff Jarrett and won the I believe it was the Intercontinental title, and it was a big thing to see a female do. So her and Stephanie McMahon, because Stephanie McMahon, her attitude, even her slaps alone, everything, you see her and she just exudes power, not because she's the boss's daughter, but she has that attitude about her.
Well, all right, Stephanie McMahon and Chyna, I mean, two ladies play huge roles in the Attitude Era. And I'm guess people may not speak much of Stephanie as a wrestler, but as a character, she had her own. No doubt about it. She came in there on the microphone with a lot of confidence, and whether she was with Triple H or whether she was with Vince, I mean, she came in there with a lot of confidence, and that's all you can want for anyone that's in the wrestling business is confidence. And as for Chyna, she break through. I think she broke barriers, becoming one of the few women wrestlers to actually go up against men and actually have great matches. I mean, you mentioned she had matches against Jeff Jarrett. She also had a match with Chris Jericho as well.
An amazing feud right there. She was a huge inspiration because in an industry where you don't see a lot of equality, she was the one showing, guess what, I can get in there and beat the crap out of a guy and still have respect. And that's one huge influence that I look at even to this day with my own wrestling, is that she held herself with that way, and that's the way I try to hold myself, is I get in there with the guys too. I get in there, I can wrestle guys, hold my respect, and still show that I can hold my own against a man.
My next question for you is, what do you like the most of being a wrestler? You like being on the road, traveling, spending time with your peers in the locker room, the fan interaction. What do you like the most of being a wrestler?
That's a very hard question. I mean, I love the athleticism of it. I love that it's a sport. I love the energy. I love the entertainment aspect of it. I love the fans. I do love the fans. And as cheesy as that might sound, whether they're hating me or whether they're cheering for me, I love the fans because I can elicit that emotion from them. And it's a great privilege to go out there any night and do that in front of a crowd, whether it's a small crowd of 10 or a huge crowd of hundreds and thousands. It's a big thing to be able to pull that emotion from somebody to make them hate me or make them love me. And it's like, I don't know if I would say the fans are the best part, but I do love the locker room camaraderie that I've come to know. And, I mean, there's so much about it that I love about wrestling. I mean, from the clothes to my peers to being on the road to getting to go to different places to getting to meet new people.
And who do you consider like your favorite wrestlers that you like working with, male or female?
Female-wise, I have to say Angel Dust and Brittany Force are two of my favorites to wrestle with. Although I do love the back and forths that I've had with Stacey Hunter and Tuftina. But Angel Dust and Brittany Force are my top two females that I've loved wrestling against. I mean, Angel Dust was actually the first female who I got to wrestle, and I mean she's a shorter woman, but she's an amazing wrestler, and I'm honored to say I've kicked her butt and she's kicked my butt for the past 3 years. Male-wise, I'd have to say the man who trained me, Lamont Action Williams, would be the number one person that comes to mind automatically, because even just watching him in the ring, everything I've learned from him has been an honor to learn, because he, even as his student, as someone who he's trained, he can still elicit emotion where here I am a wrestler and seeing this and still feeling the emotion, the draw to it. So I'd have to say Lamont Action Williams, and the second would a lot of people would be mad. Let's see, Max Alexander was a good one. But the Bouncer would be another one, because he's a huge veteran up here in Ohio, and he took me under his wing, and I love every match I've had with him. It's always been amazing. I always feel like I have to step myself up and improve and constantly evolve like the business is to be better to go against the people that I wrestle.
A little bit earlier, you talked about, whether the fans cheer for you, whether the fans boo for you, which kind of leads to the next question. What type of role you like being the most? Do you like being the baby face, or do you like being the heel?
See, I can't say which one I love more than the other, because most of the times up in Ohio, I'm a baby face, and southern parts of Ohio, I'm a heel. Out of state, I'm a heel, and it's hard to say because I love the crowds, the kids loving me, but I also like hearing the fans cheer, boo on me, and females getting indignant. There are great things about each one of them. It's hard to pick a favorite. I hate being neutral, though. I'll say that much.
Again, I'm joined with Bobbinette Carey right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, right here on ITMIRadio.com, Talk Channel number 2. Why don't you go ahead and promote the upcoming shows you'll be a part of?
Okay, well, this Saturday at the Shamrock Nightclub in Barberton, Ohio, I am in a tag match with Michael Vega against the RAPW tag champs, Blackhawk and Eddie Insane. We are going for the tag titles. Let's see, there is HKW's Grade A tournament, and I believe that is the second week of December. And that is, I'm the former HKW Women Champion, and I'm welcoming all comers and all opponents. And I believe the third week of December in Akron, Ohio, there is going to be an underground show where I will be defending my women's title against I don't know whom, because at underground the opponent, my female opponents, seem to have mysteriously have had things happen with them to where they have not shown. I mean, I obviously would not be behind this, but it has happened. There are a bunch of dates set for the new year, but I don't have them offhand. But those are just a few to name right now.
Who are some wrestlers out there currently that you haven't had a chance to work with but would like to be in the ring with someday?
There's a few of them. I mean, I would like to get a chance to be in the ring with Allison Kay. And, I mean, I've seen her, and she's amazing. I'm happy that Nikki Knuckles had her baby because she's going to be off on maternity leave in a bit. And I do hope to wrestle Nikki Knuckles. That's someone I've been admiring for a very long time, and I'd love to get a chance to get in the ring with her. Haley Hatred, I suppose. She's a huge name, and I believe she's back in Ohio for a little bit of time being, and if she is, I'd like to get a chance to be in the ring with her. I'm just honored whenever I get a chance to be in the ring with a veteran female wrestler. It's a big deal to me. I recently got to wrestle Jessica Havoc on Prime Wrestling, and it was a huge deal to me because I've always wanted to wrestle her since before I even had my very first match. I knew I wanted to wrestle her.
Jessica Havoc, that is awesome. She is currently the WSU Women's Champion, and she was recently ranked in the PWI Top 50 Women's
Number 5.
She's top 5. I mean, what a difference a year makes, especially for Jessica. And she's definitely, people better recognize her, and Allison. I mean, there's a lot of talented women wrestlers in the Midwest. It's not just East Coast and South and West. I mean, Midwest got some talent wrestlers as well. So that's definitely good to see that someone like Jessica to not only be the champion of that company, but to be in the top 5 of PWI. That's huge. What would your advice be to anyone out there that wants to pursue their career as a wrestler? What would your advice be?
Don't give up on your dreams. People told me that there's no way I'd ever wrestle, that I was foolish and stupid for doing it. And here I am over 3 years, and I didn't listen to what the negative people said or the naysayers. I pursued it because it was my dream. It was something I've wanted to do since I was 3. And it's not easy. You'll cry, you'll hurt, but at the end of the day, if it's your dream, follow it. Don't let anybody else tell you not to, because it's your dream. You have a right to dream, you have a right to follow your dreams.
Again, you check out Bobbinette on Facebook. She's on Facebook, and check out the shows that she's mentioned. It was great talking to you. Thank you for being on, fresh off of a show. And best of success goes out to you. And again, thank you for being on.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have a good night and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was my second guest of the evening, Bobbinette Carey, right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.